Hi, Mandy, and
Cheers.
welcome. Thank you and congratulations for winning the Ambassador of the Month for November.
Hello, Inina. Thank you. I am grateful for being the ambassador of the month for November, and it was indeed a great opportunity for me being a Scovy ambassador.
Mhm. Okay, so before we start with anything else, I would like you to state your name and the MO that you're part of.
Okay. By the way, I am Abubakar Muhammad Mande from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Kaduna, Nigeria. My MO is IVSA Nigeria, and my faculty MO is IVSA ABU Nigeria.
Thank you for that. And my next question is, how long have you been a Scovy ambassador, and what motivated you to become one?
Uh, Me being an Escovi ambassador, it has been a year because I joined in March 2020. That was when I joined Scovy. So it has now been a year me
Mm-hmm.
being a Scovy ambassador. And one of the greatest things that motivated me to become one is my inquisitive nature or mindset of exploring new ideas and learning a lot from different peoples around the world, because I could still recall the history of me being an IVSA member. When I come to my faculty, I was not even aware of IVSA
Mm-hmm.
until I saw a page on social media. So I tried asking one of our senior colleagues about it, and he introduced me to the president of our faculty MO. From then, I registered as an IVSA member as a new student. So after almost a year, there was a conference, an online conference of
Mm-hmm.
IVSA Nigeria uh, on One Health. So after I saw the link to that congress on WhatsApp, I copied the link and joined, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot during the conference. So after that, I could still recall I met a friend in that group. His name
Mm-hmm.
is Abiodun SO from University of Ibadan. So we were discussing with I was asking him to tell me more about IVSA, and he told me a lot about it, and I find interest in it. So he referred me to one of my senior colleagues at the faculty, Umar El Tayyib. So I from then I started like following IVSA handles on social media. After which I saw a link that is calling for ambassadors from different faculties. So I think like this is a great opportunity for me to learn a lot and know more about veterinary medicine from different angles of the world, since it is an organization for veterinary students all over the world. So I decided to click the link and register, uh, and wait to see whether I will be among the successful candidates to win the contest, uh, or the application rather. later on, after the pandemic started, we were at home. I saw an email that is congratulating me for being one of the Scovy ambassadors from Nigeria. So I accepted and replied the ambassador managers and the chairs. And in a few weeks, there was a link for our first meeting to at Scovy. And I think I will say that is the time when I started realizing what IVSA is, what
Mm-hmm.
IVSA really is, because it was when I joined Scovy that I realized there are people who are ready to dedicate their time for IVSA, as in people like Diana and Dauda Onawala, one of the peoples that I met at Scovy, and they really serve as a motivation to me, because I think before joining Scovy, we only we do not I will say we do not appreciate the activities of IVSA because we don't know more about it. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is the major reason behind that is we not having any ambassador at SCOVI, since it is the Committee for Veterinary Education. So actually my motivation to join was to learn a lot and serve as a source through which my faculty people will learn about what is going on in SCOVI.
Mm-hmm. That is quite a journey. From just being a member of IBSA and then being an ambassador, and you learning things while you're an ambassador. And we are happy. We are very, very glad that you're still with us. Like, it's been a year, and most of the students, they realize that they have more things to do, and sometimes they tend to, disregard the committee, especially if it's just an org. Sometimes they say it's just an org, so they stop being an ambassador or they stop being a member of IBSA. So we're really happy that you're still with us, and we're glad that you're enjoying your stay as an ambassador here in Scobie. And with that, I would want to
Thank
ask,
you.
how do you manage your time being an ambassador and also being a student?
Yes, this is indeed an interesting question. You know, whenever a person decides to do something, when you have interest in something, you must definitely find out a suitable situation for yourself to ensure that you fulfill your duties. Like as a Scovy ambassador, from the very time I applied, I know that because I read the
I know.
details about what to be an ambassador means. So there really needs to be some arrangements and reschedulings when in school and even at home to ensure that a person serve the purpose of being an ambassador. And with that, really, I have to be more conscious of my time, because I always expect activities to come from SCOVY. So I always manage my time to ensure that in case something come, I will, or automatically I have time for it. I have to ensure that I did all the necessities to serve my purpose as an ambassador. So
Mm-hmm.
time management is really through the schedulings of activities to ensure balancing between academic and ambassadorship activities.
Yes. I mean, it is kind of really hard to manage your time when you're still a student. And we appreciate you for managing your time and for actually prioritizing your role as an ambassador in Scobie. And with that, I want to ask, can you tell us what your favorite thing about being an ambassador, and what would you say about the things that you've learned while being an ambassador?
Yes, you ask of my favorite thing being an ambassador. Well, that is, I will say, my favorite thing is meeting exciting peoples that are
Mm-hmm.
always hardworking individually and collectively as a group to take Scovey to a better level, I would say, to take
Mm-hmm.
Scovey to a greater height. So that is one of the favorite things I have learned, or favorite things I have learned being an ambassador. Because if you look at what is going on in the academic environment, you will see some people be like they are always, or they are just there for only academic issues. Anything outside academics, they will think it is a waste of time. While in activities like this, there are indeed a lot of activities to learn from other peoples, and sometimes to make friends is also something worthy, because whenever you are you become friends through a collective goal, that will be a strong bond between the peoples in discussion, and it will be a kind of a pillar to one another, and forever those peoples that come friends through a collective goal will be assisting each other in one way or the other. So that is one of the favorite things I found being an ambassador.
My next question is, did you
I,
find it difficult being an ambassador during this pandemic?
well, uh, being an ambassador during this pandemic, I will not say it is difficult, but to some extent it is. Because when I joined Scobie, it was uh, very close to the pandemic here in my country. So, an appointment as an ambassador and you are not in school, that means a lot, because your faculty needs to know of your role now as a representative to that faculty in International Veterinary Students Association, precisely SCOVY. So we need to, the faculty needs to acknowledge that. And our fellow colleagues also needs to know that we are now representing them, but still we are at home. So that is a bit challenging. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people will see that you are now an ambassador of IVSA SCOVY. So they always expect to see your impact, to see what is going on at SCOVY. So
Mm-hmm.
programs cannot help in school since the school is closed, or rather the country is in lockdown. So that
Mm-hmm.
is a bit challenging. But regarding our parts as ambassadors, that is between we ambassadors, it is not really that challenging because
Mm-hmm.
we always communicate online and informations are passed through the social media online platforms. And one thing is they make it a bit easier for us that we can at least share our online documents to our MOs and other peoples from different parts of the world. So at least
Mm-hmm.
people will see that Scovey is doing something. Yes, but the
Mm-hmm.
only challenging part is that of not doing something really like posting or pasting of posters in the faculty, organizing some lectures or symposium on behalf of SCOBY. So that is what we found challenging. But
Mm-hmm.
regarding communication between ambassadors and doing teamwork, there is less difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are ways where sometimes it's hard to be an ambassador during this pandemic, but there are also ways where being an ambassador in this pandemic is actually beneficial because everything is online and everything is available for everybody to be accessed to. So, and with that, I would like to ask, do you think you could have done
Exactly.
more if it weren't for the pandemic?
Yes, actually, I think I would have done more without this pandemic because here, like in my faculty, if uh, observance people's, I mean, if you are good at observing our students, you will find out that most of them don't acknowledge uh, IVSA. It is only few
Mm-hmm.
people that are always eager or willing to participate in external activities
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the academic environment. So, what I think is if not of this pandemic, at least if they see a lecture or a webinar, no, let's not say webinar because webinar can
Be
can
online.
can be even can help even when we are at home, like
Seminar.
uh, lectures, Scovey lectures, if such were organized, and students will definitely attend to
Mm-hmm.
listen
Mm-hmm.
so that they can gain something. And by so doing, I think our faculty will have gotten more IVSA members because here in my faculty, not all veterinary students are IVSA members. Some they only register at our National Veterinary Medical Students Association. So I think with activities on ground, people, students will acknowledge and think of joining IVSA, and that will be a great achievement to us.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Even in my school, not everyone is IVSA, and we actually don't have an ambassador from my local MO for SCOVY. So I think, yeah, when we didn't have the pandemic, it was easier to tell people and to invite people than actually like now online because they could just see our posts but they don't really join. But I hope that the pandemic would end sooner and
Exactly.
that we can invite more people to be more active in these kinds of causes. Especially, it's because students benefit from us also, and we benefit from them. But I hope the pandemic ends sooner. So, going to one of our last questions, what advice would you give to your fellow ambassadors that would want to be an ambassador of the month winner?
Yes, the advice is like a straightforward something. I would like to tell my fellow ambassadors that would like to become the next ambassador of the month to be like a more proactive in such a way that they are always waiting to see an opportunity to uplift the standard of IVSS COVID. And ambassadors should also be more enterprising, as
Mm-hmm.
enterprising in the sense that they will be publicizing the activities of SCOVY, attending SCOVY online activities, and sharing of SCOVY activities is also one of the very important keys to achieving that goal of becoming the next ambassador of the month. And one of the things is we should always be confident in organizing activities at our local MO so that
Mm-hmm.
we can make things more easier, and even the SCOVY will become not only SCOVY, IVSA in general will become more prominent, or I would rather say more known to students. So I think that is the advice I would like to give my
Mm-hmm.
fellow ambassadors.
Those are very good advices. But then, how about the advice you would give to the people who would want to be an ambassador for Scovy?
Yes, exactly. That is also an interesting question because to be a SCOVY ambassador is indeed a great, first of all, I would like to say it is indeed a great opportunity to be a SCOVY ambassador because you will definitely learn a lot and
Mm-hmm.
come
That's true.
across people that are willing to participate in IVSA activities more than a person can ever imagine. And the second advice is first, a person before applying, a person should know that he is applying for this to act, not to maintain. What I mean is you should have interest of carrying out your activities, of serving as like a bridge between the IVSS COVI and your local faculty chapter. Be confident that you will always do all that is required by you from the SCOVI so that you will discharge your duties. Because joining, being an ambassador with lack of interest, I think it's not good because you maybe there will be someone in your faculty that can dedicate and manage his time through perseverance to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that he did great to IFSA's COVI and to your local MO. So if a person is not that very much interested in activities, he should allow someone to apply because some people might decide to apply just to be recognized, and that is really not the aim. The aim is to discharge
Mm-hmm.
your duty as an ambassador. So I think that is one of the advice I would like to give my fellow colleagues. And the something I would like to add will be you should be an excellent time manager, as in you should know how to manage
Yeah.
your time, because someone cannot join Scovey and left his academic
Mhm.
activities aside, because to be a Scovey ambassador, it is that you being a veterinary student that will make you to become a Scovey ambassador. So being an ambassador should not divert your attention from your
Mhm.
studies. A person should know how to manage his time and prioritize things and schedule and reschedule things to ensure balancing. I think that is one of the advice that I would like to add.
Okay. Well, I guess that's all of my questions for this interview. And I would also like again to congratulate you in winning the Ambassador of the Month for November.
Thank you very much, and it is indeed nice being in Scobie, and it is indeed nice having this interview with you.
Thank you. And I hope you have a good day. And goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah.
So, thank you, thank you. Have a nice moment ahead.